Hello everybody, it's November the 19th, 2013, and I've got plans to talk about how to build the embouchure from the ground up. And even if you are a more experienced player, perhaps you'll find these helpful. So we'll start by suggesting that you use the one finger on the lips approach to just get the feeling of what it's like in the most perfect world to have the mouthpiece rest on the chops. Finger is perpendicular to the chops, finger is straight up and down, chops meeting the finger so that the pressure is equal on the upper and lower lips. And that is the ideal feel for the mouthpiece on the lips when you're playing the trumpet. You want to get the mouthpiece perpendicular to the lips, and when you play, you get the feeling of 50-50 mouthpiece pressure upper and lower lip. So in the most perfect of perfect worlds, whether you're playing high or low, that would be a nice setting to achieve. Of course, this isn't a perfect world, and we're going for percentages, not perfection. And that's whether it's performances or whether it is an embouchure setup. So that's the first place to start, though. That's our ideal. And then, of course, the mouthpiece, as I mentioned before on the trumpet, same thing. Now, once we get past that, then we have to decide whether or not we're going to buzz or not. And as I mentioned in the prologue to this series, that you can play great trumpet without using any one of these techniques, and you can use all of these techniques. I don't think any of them are mutually exclusive. So give them a try, and if it works, great, and if it doesn't, then you learn something also. So after getting the mouthpiece set, then I go to the piano, and this is what I do with my students. I get to the concert B flat, and I play that, and then I have the students buzz that, if they can, with their lips. Because again, that's going for the ideal. Just to remind you that those of you who are not real fond of buzzing, you don't have to do this, I know that. But this is just something for those people who find buzzing helpful. And it does provide me with a student's sense of how well they can just buzz a simple note. And then once we start this, I'll have them buzz that. Then maybe do the same thing on the mouthpiece. I had a student come in today who I noticed had a very good ear, and then I had him sing. And he had a terrific voice. He didn't know that. So that was a pleasant discovery. Here we go. So this is my pattern I use. You can buzz along with this. And then of course, very similar to Jimmy Stamp. Bit different, than I might go and expand it a little farther, and keep going up and down in that direction. So you can do that buzzing, and what I look for in the buzz is to make sure that the student has a quality buzz all the way up and down and it's consistent. So a lot of times you'll hear a student, I should hold it in the Jimmy Stamp approved method. I like this way actually because it amplifies the sound. This is of course nice because as you go higher, if you're doing this, this is like a pressure gauge. using too much pressure, you'll see the hands go in like that. So if a student thins out, I can't do it as some students do it. That is that they thin the sound out as they go higher. And again, you're looking for the same quality as you go up and down. And that's the next step that I take when I do an embouchure analysis or I work on a student's setting. So once I go to the buzz, then I incorporate some of the Adams work, similar to the Bill Adams type of approach, combining it with what Javier Gonzalez did on one of my videos. And I'll have the student play this note, just with a crook out of the trumpet. And I do this pattern. I'll go down by half steps. I'll take that down by half steps, and then maybe I'll do this. All the way down to the B flat. Then I'll start to work my way back up with the student. And then I'll do this. And then this one. Another one. And down as far as possible. Now the purpose of this is to get the chops to move forward as you're doing the buzz on those notes that you have to use your chops in order to get. For example, you have to move your chops forward, open up the hole just a little bit. And as John Daniels does such a great job of talking about in his book, that as you move your chop, if you do these kinds of exercises, they're a little bit different in his book, but I think much of the process is similar. And I'll talk a little bit about that and that whole process. It's very similar to the what we just did here, John Daniels' work, as well as in my book, the original book, the Bing book, how we move the chops forward. And it's as similar as John Daniels points out as playing in the upper register without actually playing in the upper register. It helps the chops a lot. So that's enough for this particular trumpet talk, and I'll put up another one soon talking about that process of moving the chops forward and how that can be really helpful in your playing. So hope you enjoyed this session of Bill Bing's Trumpet Talk, and I'll look forward to putting up the next one and sharing some time with you. Thank you.